this one is a little bit different. Let's go have a look at it. Hey guys, what is going on? This is your old pal CHH. So, a week or so ago, I dropped a video about a Spanish Fright Night Part 2 Blu-ray. Now, a lot of you guys were pretty interested in that video, and interestingly enough, you guys were telling me that, you know, there's other Spanish Fright Night 2 Blu-rays out there. So, I listened to you guys, and you guys told me to pick up this Fright Night 2 Spanish Blu-ray. Now, this one is available on a number of sites. I found this on eBay. This is Amazon Prime. Now, it's not the cheapest Blu-ray in the world. It's in the upper 20s, but you can find different prices for it, sometimes a little bit lower on eBay and things like that. Not overtly expensive, but also not a $14.99 Blu-ray you would buy either way. But listen, this is Fright Night 2 we are talking about here, so I guess the rules don't really apply with this movie. Just a little bit of a history lesson to kind of cap off things the way they were when we did that previous video. You know, Fright Night 2 was supposedly going to get this release from Cinemuseum. Now, people are asking me to follow up on that, and I looked into it even more, and like I said, it looks like they announced it a couple years ago, along with a Part 1, which I'm not even sure if Part 1 came out yet, but it's as if it was never announced. I never saw Cinemuseum actually acknowledge the fact that they weren't doing it, but it just never came out, and nothing ever came of it. And Tommy Lee Wallace did an interview last year, I believe, on Sean Clark's channel. It might have even been 2 years ago at this point, where he basically said that he feels that the Menendez brothers situation killed his movie as well as, unfortunately, his parents. So, I don't know. Fright Night 2 has been a movie that has had a weird history with physical media. It's not like it never existed. I mean, it had VHS releases, and Artisan DVD actually put the movie out, and it had, you know, this artwork on it. So it's one of those things that we're all just trying to really figure out. I know with physical media fans, we're all dying for this movie to get a really good release, something really great with special features, with Julie Carmen, and having Tommy Lee Wallace do a brand new audio commentary with things like that, and maybe even a 4K UHD. I do need to backtrack on something I said on the last video I did with Fright Night 2. Now, when I reviewed the previous release of Fright Night 2 on Blu-ray, I started the review out saying I thought Fright Night 2 was better than Fright Night. Well, I gotta say this. When I watched Fright Night 2 the other time, a few weeks ago, I was super high on the movie. Now, I obviously rewatched it again for this release because we're going to review this release. And I'm going to say that Fright Night 2 is as good as Fright Night. It's hard for me to say that it's better at this point because I subsequently had to go back and rewatch Fright Night, the first one, and there's no denying how good that is. Chris Sarandon is, like, amazing. I love Julie Carmen, but they're both incredible. So I'll say that they're pretty even. There's things I like more about Fright Night, and there's things I like as much, if not a little bit more, about Fright Night 2. So, like, for instance, I really like Roddy McDowall a little bit more in Fright Night 2 as opposed to Fright Night. He's a little quirkier in 2, but it works. I like the array of characters in Fright Night 2 a little bit more. But I like the world that Tom Holland made in Fright Night more than Part 2. So, it's a give and take. There's some elements I think are better about one than the other, and vice versa. So, I'm going to retract my statement that it's better and say that they're pretty dead even. Okay, guys, so you all told me to order this Blu-ray, and I got it. So, I got this thing in the mail, and within a few days, I had to pop this in to check it out. I'm just going to give it to you straight. Does it look good? I gotta say, this one was a little bit better than the last one. If you recall with the last one, I said that the picture quality is actually pretty impressive, but there were a few moments in the movie where the image just kind of froze. I couldn't exactly explain why, whether it had something to do with the elements that they used or not, but there's a couple moments where just for a second, the image freezes, not the audio, and then boom, everything's fine. Well, on this release, this Blu-ray release, which we'll take a closer look at, it never had any issue, and I felt that watching this on a big screen LG 4K TV, as well as a PlayStation 5, which is a 4K player, upconverting this, I mean, picture quality wise, like, I felt extremely satisfied by the time I got done watching this. It looked really good. I was super happy with it. The colors were very rich. There was a level of sharpness, and surprisingly, there was a nice layer of film grain to it to have a real authentic cinematic look. I would give the picture quality for this Blu-ray like a 7.8 out of 10. Just impressive. There's a mystery as to what elements they're using. To be honest with you, I don't know. I tried to do some research on this, and I couldn't really make heads or tails. Now, my guess is that they're using some sort of television broadcast for the film back in the day. I've done research on things like that, and that's how a lot of people have been able to make bootleg versions of movies on Blu-ray that never have officially had Blu-ray releases, like Return of the Living Dead, Necropolis, and Rave to the Grave. I've got some bootlegs of those that were taken from TV broadcasts, and you'd be surprised at how good they looked. But this one, I imagine, is something into the vein of that. But in terms of the quality, guys, yeah, this one outperforms the blue one that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. So, a good-looking Blu-ray. I mean, I'm totally happy with this. If a new official release came out and it looked identical to this, I wouldn't be upset. The only thing I would like would be some great special features with things like Tommy Lee Wallace. I gotta say, if you're just sick of waiting and you can get this for around 22 to 25 bucks, yeah, there's no special features on this, but I'll show you guys all the imagery and stuff in a second. If you want to own this movie and have it look good, I'm happy with this. It looks good. So, it's not the end-all be-all. I still want something legitimate. I still want something official. I want whoever owns this movie or whoever can license this movie to put it out and do something great. When it comes to just having Fright Night 2 in possession, this works for me, especially for the time being. And physically, it's actually not that bad looking. Now, of course, it's in Spanish on here on the front, but I do like the fact that they gave us the VHS artwork that they did. I really like the white with what's supposed to be, I guess, Julie Carmen on the front. And here is the backside, which, I gotta say, aesthetically, this Blu-ray is a lot cooler than the previous one. And it comes in this really sleek black case. Now, let's have a look at the disc. The disc actually looks pretty good too. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a Blu-ray R at all. It looks like it's a pressed disc. I don't see that ring around the middle, which would indicate that it's some sort of burned disc. And the art on the front is rich, vibrant, and looks pretty legitimate. Is this a bootleg? I guess so, but honestly, I don't exactly know. People have told me that, you know, they can make these things look pretty legitimate and they'll still be bootlegs, but for what it's worth, guys, in my hand, this feels like a quality Blu-ray case and Blu-ray release, and the paper on here is pretty high def. I mean, it looks nice. If I just handed this to somebody in my family to hold, I don't think they would consider this to be any sort of bootleg, so I don't know. If it is or it isn't, they went out of their way to make it seem and feel pretty legit. So guys, I showed you what the menu screen and everything looked like on the previous Blu-ray. It had this overview shot of the apartment complex with the Come To Me song playing, but this one is a little bit different. Let's go have a look at it. In other breaking news, you can reverse the art on this. Wow. Alright guys, here we go. You're getting the full tilt. As you'll see, this one doesn't play the Come To Me song. It plays just kind of like some music cues from the movie. But this is the menu screen. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. I was really happy with the level of detail. So we've got película, which I guess means play. Idiomas is language, asana scenes, and then trailers. It looks like we've got 2 trailers on here. Let me turn this down a little bit. I wonder if that's Fright Night. I haven't tried this. This might be 2 trailers for Fright Night 1 and Fright Night 2. Maybe this is Fright Night 1. Yeah. Okay, so we got a trailer for Fright Night 1 on here. Very, very nice. And then we have, obviously, a trailer for Fright Night 2. So it's pretty cool for them to include the trailer for part 1 on there, just in case you're interested in that. And here's the trailer for Fright Night 2. As you can see, this is pretty low quality. Yeah, you see how that's lower quality? Yeah, that's a... Yeah, there you go. So a trailer for Fright Night 2. Okay, so I'll just kind of play the movie and skip to a part. That way you can see, you know, what we're working with. It does have a number of subtitles, which is nice. You could do American sub. You can see you've got audio, Castellano, English, Alemán, Italiano, France, and then subtitles. You have a lot of options, which I like watching movies with English subtitles. As you can see, they did do that. In terms of scenes, you get your scene selection, and again, nice widescreen. It's fairly similar, like letterboxing, as the previous one, if not identical, but just a decent level of sharpness. I'm just happy with this. This just looks like it's like the quality of that's on par with like Vestron video Blu-rays. That term of quality, just really good looking Blu-rays. So there you have it, guys. Okay, guys, so, I mean, I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know what else to say. If you want to get this, it's readily available right now, but weigh your options on where you want to get it from. But in terms of picture quality and things like that, guys, I'm happy with this. It doesn't look bad at all. I'd even say it looks a little bit better than that previous release we talked about. So, for what it's worth, guys, this Spanish Fright Night 2 bootleg Blu-ray kind of gets the job done for now. Let's hope for something official in the future, but if you want to be able to sink your teeth in a Fright Night 2 right now, go for it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this release if you own it, and if you've ever thought about owning it, let me know. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered in this video, please drop it down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. For now, this is your old pal CHH saying take care, and it's not better than part 1, but I do think it's as good. Alright guys, see y'all next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.